MOBAs are obviously a huge genre, and the way that they're built, they need a large cast of characters. And what that means too is that we see a lot of overlap in all kinds of MOBAs on what characters can look like. It makes it more difficult for us concept artists to create something that's unique and something that's different.
So Calamity was birthed from a great idea we had of a unique way to deal damage through our game, be it through these orbitals that are persistent on a hero the whole way through. So we designed the hero around the fact that she has these 3 orbitals that spin around her at all times during the game, either near her or far away, and all of her abilities enhance those or use those in unique ways.
She has dragons that circle around her. These are the dragonlings. These are the children of Sunder that constantly fly around her in a circle, and she has the ability to expand that circle and contract it. And each time one of those small dragons hits an enemy, it does damage. But in addition to that, she has a passive that is essentially like a critical that does additional damage based on attacks.
So the design stages of Calamity, as far as the art and what the model looks like and the effects, have been in production for an incredibly long time. We've had a lot of back and forth about should the dragon be in charge, should she be in charge, should they be a pair, should they be working together, and eventually we decided that she's going to be the one controlling the dragon.
And we liked this idea that this woman herself doesn't do much in battle. She relies mostly on the dragon, so she just gets to walk and order this dragon to do all of the killing and all of the attacking for her. It makes her this scary type of character that even a dragon is willing to just obey her whims and her will. And it's almost as if just by her willpower alone and just by who she is, she's able to exert this level of force and control. And that's what her real power feels like when you look at the character.
Her first ability is you target an area and there's a bouncing projectile that bounces up and down there. And anybody that you hit is pulled back towards the center. And this, of course, works with the orbs because it keeps people nearby closer so you can hit them with them more often. Her second ability is the actual orbitals that she has. And as you level up the ability, they do more damage, and you can move them in and out to either deal damage to people farther away or pull them in. But the unique thing is that every time that you do so, they speed up and spin really fast for a short amount of time. Her third ability is sort of her semi-carry scaling ability. Every time you hit somebody with an orb, an auto attack, any of your abilities, it actually steals some of their stats. And you gain agility and movement speed, and that builds up. So Calamity's ultimate is sort of a fantastic ability. You target a big area and it creates a wall around the whole area, trapping everybody inside. And then after a short delay, basically blast that whole area with damage. And anybody that's in the middle takes a lot more than anybody on the outside. And then a second or so later, the wall disappears. But for that whole duration, they are stuck there. Sort of like a really, really big pharaoh mummy wall.
One of the things that we found lately while planning the design, the concept design for heroes, is that designing a base that is iconic in a good way allows us to explore alt avatars that look very different from the base, but are still recognizable as that base hero. So one of the alts for Calamity is styled after the idea of a wind priestess and a lightning and wind element. So on her back, instead of the dragon, she has this large cloud whirlwind type structure that's constantly spitting out electricity and lightning bolts. She also, for her orbiting ability, has smaller little versions of that cloud that are also spewing out that lightning. So her effects really drive that design. You get to have a completely different aesthetic, whereas Cassie Calamity is an alt avatar based around the idea of stuffed animals. So all of the dragons that she has that orbit around her, that are the one that's wrapped around her neck is this large stuffed animal. It's a really fun avatar that's kind of along the vein of 8-Bit Kane, where it's a little bit more eccentric and a little bit more fun, and we really think that you're going to enjoy it a lot.
So from designing this hero, it's been a ton of fun to watch how people play it, because you could take someone that feels very new at the game and give them this hero, and they'll still feel pretty effective because the orbs still do a lot of damage. But a really high-skilled player is the one that can really push it to the extreme and hurt a support on the outside of the fight while focusing on a carry who's actually right next to them, and dealing damage to both at the same time, and being able to monopolize on the fact that you can deal damage in a large area or very close, and you have complete control of that.
I'm sure you're going to enjoy Calamity and Sunder just as much as we did creating them. Look out for Calamity and Sunder next patch.
Hey, thanks. We loved Calamity. She was great fun. I hope you like her too. Thanks. Like, no, that's terrible. Don't use that one, you